Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you about why I think the Russian compounds in New York and Maryland were seized and why the Trump administration has not agreed to return the properties, and I don't think they should. He's being advised by both Republicans and Democrats in Congress, and the prominent Republicans that are advising him are Johnny Isakson of Georgia, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, and Marco Rubio of Florida. And the reason that the properties have not been returned, okay, there's evidence that Russia meddled in the 2016 election, but more than likely it didn't influence the outcome, okay? Russian properties in New York and Maryland were seized, two different Russian properties, one in New York, one in Maryland. And 35 Russian diplomats were expelled. They were suspected of being spies, okay? I believe they were spies. Okay, those properties would be returned if Russia did two things, which they have not agreed to do this, and high-ranking Russian official Sergei Lavrov won't admit this. News articles have touched on the two things that Russia's not agreed to do, but it's not, Russia's not agreeing to things and they're not compromising. Here's what they're not compromising on. The U.S. would return the properties if Russia would do two things, and that is pull out of Ukraine, leave Ukraine alone, and reverse the Putin's decision to stop that bans Americans from adopting Russian orphans. Okay? If Americans were allowed to adopt Russian orphans again, and if the Russians were to pull out of Ukraine, and Ukraine's sovereign independent territory, if Russia did those two things, they would have their compounds back. And plain and simple. And that's where people need to look further into what's going on, okay? Russia could easily get their properties back. And if Russia agrees to do the two things that I just pointed out, then the U.S. should give them their properties back. But Russia's not doing that, and they're not even considering doing that. And when Putin banned Americans from adopting Russian children, more than 200 American families were in the process of adopting Russian children. In the process of adopting Russian orphans, these were orphans that no Russian family wanted. So the children needed a family and they needed a home. So anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.